So forgive the clock. My colleagues want to make sure that we don't waste even a single minute of your time. So they'll put me on a clock. But speaking of a minute, let me start by asking you all a very simple question, and don't worry, this will be a poll that we'll do the old-fashioned way. You won't have to log into your mobile applications. How much or how important is a minute in our lives today? A simple question, and I've got 3 options for you. How much can you get done in a minute today? How important is a minute today? A little. The second option is a lot, and the third is quite a lot. So anybody who believes that a minute is not very significant and you can achieve only a little, can you raise your hands, please? Not a single member of the audience. A minute is important and you can achieve a lot. How many of you? A few. That's it? All right. How many of you believe that a minute is a lot and you can achieve quite a lot? Most of the audience. That's interesting. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what has happened in the last 60 seconds on the digital world. There are about 4 million search queries that were done, about 48,000 applications that were downloaded on the App Store, just the App Store, not the Play Store, not Windows, and 347,000 images shared over WhatsApp. That's just in the last 60 seconds. So all of you who said a lot can be achieved in a minute were actually true. On the digital world, maybe a lot is also not enough. So let's step back a little. Let's go back into time, 5 to 7 years ago. Life was pretty much compartmentalized. You had a specific time to do certain tasks, and more importantly, you had specific tools to do those tasks. So, for example, you were interested in photography. You allocated a time of the day or a month or even a year. Typically during vacations. Music, you would listen to it at a specific time of the day. Life in the current day, the lines have blurred. What is happening is that it's very difficult to differentiate between what is work time and what is your personal time. And as a result of the blurring of these lines, something incredible has happened. We've started using more tools. So, for example, if you're interested in photography, you would buy a camera. Today, everybody has a camera on his mobile phone. A camera or a music player has become a default feature rather than something that you would aspire to buy or purchase and keep as part of the gadgets that you would acquire. What is also happening is that everyone is becoming a potential publisher, right? So whether you're sitting out here or you're at the airport, you have the ability to publish a blog, you have the ability to share feedback, and that's an important tool that all of us have at our disposal today. But here's another thing that is also very interesting. The time spent with each of these gadgets has also increased. I mean, go back 5 years ago. A camera would be used at a specific time, and then you would tuck it away in some cabinet in your home. But today, you're moving around with a camera, you see something interesting, you click a picture, and that's available with you for posterity. So, interesting to note that the time spent on all of these gadgets has also increased, and that's very significant when you consider what is potentially possible with social media, with combining with mobile applications, and very shortly the Internet of Things. So if you look at social media, it's been around for some time, right? Orkut and Facebook were around, but they weren't the disruptive technologies, or Facebook wasn't the disruptive technology that it is considered today. So what's changed? What's happened? Well, a simple thing happened. The combination between mobile telephony and social media is what has made it disruptive. As the speaker before me talked about and mentioned some case studies, examples, today marketers are using social media because they know that it has influence, it is significant in terms of influencing power as far as consumers are concerned. So is this the end? Are we expecting any more disruption, or do we think that there is something bigger that is on the way? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's called the Internet of Things. And very frankly, for all of us who've been studying this space for the last couple of years, it's very difficult for us to even fathom the kind of impact that the Internet of Things can have in our lives. And what is going to be even more significant is when the Internet of Things combines with social media and the entire mobile application proposition. So let's look at how SMI, that is social mobility, and the Internet of Things is impacting our lives in the enterprise space. And I'll confine the next few slides to the enterprise use cases. So all of us in whatever organization we may be, deal with two very significant pillars. One is a customer, the other is an employee. And if you want to keep one step ahead of what the employee is thinking, what the customer is thinking, then the social media platform is an extremely useful platform that can be used to figure out what customers are actually thinking, or employees are thinking, what and how you can engage with them. More importantly, can you use this platform to get feedback or take feedback and improve your services or your offering to them. A lot of CXOs, CEOs are concerned about using social media in the enterprise space in terms of considering it is a public platform and security and privacy concerns. Well, at Tata DoCoMo, we are cognizant of this concern, and we are working with partners who develop very secure collaboration tools, a private WhatsApp, if you can call it that, which can be effectively used by your employees and your extended ecosystem, like partners, distributors, and others. The next point is related to each one of us who might have a large workforce, a mobile workforce to deal with. And if you are in a setup or in an organization which has a large mobile workforce, then you're typically dealing with questions related to productivity of the workforce, process efficiency gaps. All of you might want to know what that workforce is doing at a particular point of time. Another very important point that might be on everybody's mind, which is how do you save costs, especially if there is a large workforce around. Well, what we've seen is that customers have deployed successfully enterprise mobility solutions across a host of functional areas. So right from direct sales to indirect sales, collections, courier companies, insurance workforce, and even market research. And I'm pleased to announce that our first large pilot in the market research space was actually done in Kolkata for a very large FMCG customer. So today customers are seeing the benefit of mobile applications and how these mobile applications can really change the business efficiency, productivity issues that they might be facing. Just a few minutes ago, you saw a real-time poll being conducted. All of you would select a particular option which was reflected on the screen. That's the power of enterprise mobility applications. And real-time information and big data analytics is everybody talks about that being the future. And we believe that enterprise mobility applications will be a significant enabler of that particular need. Second bit, the third bit is related to location-based services. And each of you who might be in a scenario where vehicles, transport of people or goods is an integral part of your operations, then location-based services is an ideal solution for you, because it allows you to kind of keep track of what's happening in the fleet or with the goods that are being transported on a real-time basis again. As far as we're concerned, we work based on customer requirements and develop various solutions across various needs. So right from BPO cab management to logistics, shipping and trip segment tracking, asset tracking, taxi management, fleet management, and one of our first solutions was in the school bus tracking space, where parents were worried about their children and they wanted some technology, some tool to be able to track, when the kids would be put on the school bus. And we work with partners, develop solutions which are today deployed in over 7,000 to 8,000 buses across the country. So the one point that I wanted to mention, and this is the last slide on this particular topic, is that in India, M2M and IoT has primarily been confined to the location-based services space. But it's now gaining traction across a wide spectrum of use cases. And one of the biggest drivers of that is the Government of India and various state governments. For example, the 100 smart cities that have been identified as a key project for the next couple of years is going to drive up adoption of M2M solutions in a host of government-related areas. Healthcare, retail, security. These are the other areas where we are seeing significant traction of M2M services and solutions across the country. So the purpose of this presentation or this discussion is not to really share with you what is possible. All of us know that the scope of M2M is humongous, and the use cases are numerous. What we wanted to do was share our experience in this space. We worked with customers and partners for the last 3.5 years in terms of delivering, in terms of building solutions for customers. And I'll be the first to admit that there have been failures as well as successes. And what I thought would be appropriate for us to share is what we call the mantras of success. Customers who've shared feedback with us and told us why they believe their implementations have succeeded. And there are about just 5 mantras, 4 or 5 mantras, which I'd like to share with you tonight. The first is the customers who have succeeded in, or claim to have successful implementations have always gone down the path of device vendor agnostic solutions. If you look at the M2M space, if you look at the IoT space, what has traditionally happened is that the device OEM provides you the end-to-end solution. He will build an application for you quickly based on your needs and roll it out. But that's where you start facing problems. At our end, we believe that the device and the application has to be separate. You cannot marry the two, because the moment you marry the two, then you're essentially dependent on one device vendor for the rest of the life of the particular project. We've had customers tell us that they are extremely dissatisfied with their existing vendors, but they can't do anything because the entire organization has adopted an application which they're not in a position to change. Hence, since that application is proprietary to a particular device OEM, they have no choice but to continue. So to ensure that there is no dependence on a single vendor, please look at device vendor agnostic solutions. The second is SMI on the cloud. We get a lot of concerns expressed in terms of, are my solutions going to be secure on the cloud? I can assure you that the cloud platform today offers very secure, reliable, robust services, and it will not in any way jeopardize your long-term operations. In fact, it's a much easier way to get off the ground, get the solution rolling, and more importantly, it's a less riskier proposition. Simply because in this space, technology is changing not by the day, but by the minute. And if you are going to invest in a particular solution today, I can guarantee you that tomorrow there will be something better, and you will ask yourself this question as to have you taken the right decision by going in for something. So explore the cloud as a serious option. It gives you a lot of flexibility. It allows you to move up the solution chain and adopt newer technologies as and when they come. The third is look at horizontal and not vertical. Many organizations today are adopting IoT solutions based on certain businesses or certain functional groups that are coming to them saying there is a problem and IoT has a particular solution, M2M has a particular solution, so can we look at deploying that solution? If you're a CTO, if you're part of the IT organization in your organization, please step back. Step back, analyze the requirement, not from just that functional group's perspective, but look at the entire organization needs and then take a decision. Because very soon you will have more departments, more functional areas coming to you with requirements, and you'll realize that because you've taken a vertical approach, it's going to be a more expensive proposition, or you might need to junk the previous investments and kind of look at something with a fresh set of eyes. So look beyond the existing demand is a recommendation that we'd like to make. The last, in my view, this is the most important point, is look at an end-to-end service provider. There will be lots of partners, vendors who will come to you and claim to be end-to-end service providers. But here's the simple fact of life, that while these vendors might be in a position to take ownership of the device and the application, they really can't take ownership of the connectivity. The connectivity is the key component which enables the entire end-to-end solution. We've had feedback from customers which very clearly states that many times their solution fails because connectivity was not factored in at the time of solution. So what type of connectivity? Are we going to go GPRS? Are we going to go 3G? Are we going to look at other telecom infrastructure to power the solution? The telecom service provider today is the only entity who can take ownership of all the three components in a seamless fashion. So please look at an end-to-end service provider who has platforms and tools and can take end-to-end ownership in the true sense of the word. So that was the last mantra for success. And from our perspective, what we've essentially done is ensured that the last 1.5 to 2 years, we built these capabilities at our end. So the Tata DoCoMo value proposition is very simply put a one-stop shop solution across all the components that are involved in the solution. We provide device vendor agnostic solutions, third-party devices, or a set of recommended devices. Ultimately, our vision is to provide plug-and-play services, which essentially is taking end-to-end and putting it in a box literally. And that's the goal that we're trying, that we have set for ourselves. The last point, which is platform-based mashup and bashup, is a critical point, and I'd like to spend some time on it. At the end of the day, we need to look at all IoT solutions as not vertical in nature, but horizontal in nature, which means that can video surveillance be used for market research? How many of you think that video surveillance can be used for market research? Just a quick show of hands. Just a few of you, right? So in the last couple of months, we've actually deployed video surveillance solutions for market research. Brand research, where one of the largest market research organizations in the country has deployed a simple video surveillance solution, cameras pointed at racks, in a retail counter, figure out what is the first original preference of a customer when he walks into a supermarket or a retail outlet. 2 years back, nobody would have even dreamt of deploying these solutions. But today, this particular opportunity exists, and at the end of the day, that's going to be the future. If you're looking at digital signage for again, video surveillance combined with digital signage. So you walk into an ATM, what kind of advertisement is played on the digital signage? Is it something that is specific to you, or is it a general advertisement? Well, today technologies exist which will capture the image, determine whether it's a man or a woman, and then play a message which is relevant for that particular target segment. So essentially what we are talking about is correlation between applications, which we believe is going to determine the success of IoT implementations in the near future. From our perspective, what I'd like to leave you with, this is the last slide, is that we have spent, for us, this is an important space, and we've spent a lot of time working with partners, building solutions for our customers. So right from mobile applications to workforce tracking, to fleet management, school bus tracking, to video surveillance, we've developed we've developed a very robust portfolio of solutions. My colleagues out there in the corner will be happy to demonstrate many of these solutions. What I'd like you to consider at the end of the day is very simple. Who can be a one-stop shop partner for you as far as your IoT and M2M needs and requirements are concerned? I can assure you that if you initiate a dialogue with us, you'll find out that we have the required capability, and hopefully today during the demo sessions or during cocktails and dinner, we'll be happy to address any questions that you might have. Thank you very much for your time.